and then I will just start. Hopefully it looks good. If not, someone please message me and let me know. I always get worried. Did the slides look funky, Diana? I can see you, so do they look all right? You can't see them? They're good. Okay, cool. All right, so we are talking about chapters 6, 7, and 8 in You Were Made for a God-Sized Dream, right? Yes. And I kind of sat down and reread through my chapters because I finished this book this last week, and I kind of thought, okay, what was my favorite parts? Like, what stood out to me the most in these 3 chapters? And I really love these 3 chapters because, you know, when we talk about dreaming, we're pretty fluffy, right? Like, we're just like, it's going to be great. It's going to be all like rainbows and butterflies, and, you know, things are just going to be so fabulous. And then what happens? They're not. Like, things happen, right? Like, we know that life is not all rainbows and butterflies, and that there are going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be things that happen. And so I really love this because it really helps you put it into perspective that, you know, things are going to happen. So be prepared when you start to dream big and when you start to work towards your dream. Something, you know, there's going to be bumps and things along the way. So when she talked in the beginning of the book, in the beginning of the 6th chapter, she said that she didn't like her dream today. It's not how I pictured it. Right now, it just feels like a bunch of hard work. And I don't know about you guys, but there have been times in this business when I have just been like, it is such hard work. I'm so tired. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I just, you know, it's a struggle and it's hard. And so I love when she said, God-sized dreams are beautiful. They're worth pursuing, but they're not all cotton candy and daisies. And I love this, and I think it's something we need to remember because, you know, when you first start out, you're so excited and you're just like, let's do this. I kind of think of it like when you're in high school and you know, you're a freshman and it's brand new and it's so exciting. And so you start out and you're just like gung-ho and you're attending all of these different activities and events. And it's great and it's fun. And then all of a sudden your sophomore year hits and it's kind of lost this newness about it. And all of a sudden things are getting harder and school is harder. And I think of that when it comes to your dreams. Like in the beginning, it's just so much, like you don't see the road bumps as much. But then when they really hit you, they hit you hard and they shake you to your core. And that's when it kind of really shows you if this is something you really want to pursue or not. And so I love the 5 disclaimers that she gave about dreams and the things that you need to be prepared for as you're working towards your God-sized dream, because these are going to happen. Things are going to get in your way. And if you know that they're going to happen, you can kind of be prepared for it. You won't let it set you back so much. So we're going to go through the 5 disclaimers that she gives. So the first one is you will never feel 100% ready. And I love this because I am someone who will like get everything ready. I'm like a preparer. Like when I first started this business, I had to have the perfect office with the desk set up and I had to have all my, you know, boards hung on the wall and everything had to be perfect. But even after I got that all done, I didn't necessarily feel 100% ready to dive in. So then I found something else to do to preoccupy my time. And the thing is, you know, you're never ever going to feel 100% ready, no matter what. Most dreams don't die a crash and burn death. If you at least try, then you're likely to have some kind of success come out of what you do. Most dreams just never get born. And I think that's so true. How many times do we hear something that, you know, or have this feeling that we should do something and we shove it aside and we just keep pushing it away because you're like, oh, the timing's not right. You know, all these things come up, so you're like justifying why you shouldn't do it. You will never feel 100% ready. It's never going to be the perfect time. Our lives are chaotic and stressful. Like there will never be the perfect time to do something. Although I do believe in timing and I do believe there is a season for things. If you're just waiting for the perfect moment, it's not going to happen. You're never going to be the perfect size. If you're sitting here thinking as a coach, well, I am not going to do this coaching journey. I'm not even going to start it until I am a size whatever, because no one's going to want to be a customer under me if I'm not the perfect size. Not true. And there's never going to be a perfect scenario. There are times for waiting and proactively seeking God's voice, but when we already know what he's asked us to do, it's time to plant the seeds. It's time to get to work. Sow your seeds in the morning and at evening. Let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. So stop waiting until the time feels right. Don't wait until you're ready, because you'll seriously wait forever. I always laugh because I have friends that will tell me, we're waiting to have our kids until the perfect time. I will tell you, you will never 100% be ready to have a baby. Just saying. And because things come up and you'll just never feel 100% ready. But if it's something you're called to do and it's something that's been placed in your heart, there will be time for it. You will find time to be ready. When we don't feel ready, God has the opportunity to get the most glory. And I thought this was incredible because, you think about all of these people who were called to do such incredible things, and they weren't necessarily the people that, were the most popular, the most well-known, or the richest or whatever. And that's because he knows that, because when he picks people like that, like you and I, normal, regular, everyday people for specific tasks, he knows that he's going to receive the glory, and people are going to want to, come to him and to learn more about him and to have that relationship with him as well. You need to put the work and spend time listening to God's voice, but at some point, it's the moment to act. And I think so many times we spend sitting, waiting, hoping, wishing that he'll give us direction and clarity. But I think if you have a feeling or a prompting, you got to act on it and rely and trust that he will help provide you where you need to go. You don't have to be ready for anything. You only have to be ready for the next step God has for you to take. So the next disclaimer is, you will not like your dreams sometimes. And I absolutely love this one, because I think sometimes we sit there and we think, oh my gosh, I don't like what I'm doing today, so maybe I should quit. Maybe this isn't for me. We let all of these irrational thoughts come into our head. And I was thinking of them. One of my favorite movies is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And this it relates to this just in a way, but I thought it was funny because in the movie, she buys her boyfriend this plant, and she calls it the love fern. And he lets it die. And he starts talking to her, and she looks at him dead in the eye and says, Benny, I love you, but I don't have to like you right now. And I think that is so true for our dreams. You can love your dream, and you should love your dream, but not always are you going to like it at that moment. There are going to be times when you're going to be frustrated with your dream. You're going to be questioning, why was this placed into my heart? Why am I supposed to be doing this? But you should always love your dream, but there are going to be moments when you just don't like it very much. If you don't love any minute of your dream, then that's a concern. If you are, at a point where you just hate every single thing about getting to your dream, and you're just like, this is not working for me, then you need to step back and reevaluate. Because you shouldn't hate every second of it. It shouldn't be something you dread. But having days when you don't like the dream all that much and you'd like to trade it in for a convertible and a beach house, it's totally normal. It is totally normal to want to go back potentially to the way things were, to live a more simple life, or, to not have so much on your plate. But I think you know the difference, and you can feel the difference. When you feel called to do something, no matter if you don't like it at that moment, you may for a split second dream of something different, but usually you snap yourself right back out of it, because you're like, no, wait, this is what I meant to do. This is what I'm called to do. I know this with every fiber of my being. So you don't have to like it every single day of your life, but deep down, you should love what you do. Know the core characteristics of your dreams and stay close to them as possible. You won't always like your dream, but you will always love it. Even if you're tired, even if this doesn't seem worth it, even if you feel like you're crazy, this is what you've got to keep doing somehow. So disclaimer number 3, you will sometimes feel alone. This is something I think a lot of us as coaches struggle with, because we, speak to our spouse, our significant other, our family, whatever, and we're like so amped up about this business, and we're just like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm so excited, and I'm doing this. And you're like going a million miles an hour telling them about what you're going to do and how this is going to change your life. And they look at you with these glassy eyes, or sometimes with this look of concern, like they just don't believe in it like you do. And then all of a sudden you're like, they don't believe in me. And you feel all alone because you're the one that's just amped up about your dream. And I love how she says, no one will ever love your dream the way you do. It is absolutely true. No one will ever love your dream the way that you do, because you're the one, this was your dream. It was meant for you. This is your baby. And so it will never mean as much to somebody else. Now, can they support you? Absolutely. But they're not going to fall in love with it like you. They're not going to eat, breathe, and sleep this passion that you have. But something that I think is very crucial that you need to learn as soon as you can to figure out and work on is how to express your dream and share your vision with those who matter the most to you. I was terrible at that in the beginning of my business. I was just like amped up, and I was like, this is what I'm doing. And I like pretty much threw up all over my husband, all of my dreams and my goals. And instead of like sharing that vision with him and asking his input so we could go on this journey together, he almost felt left behind because I wasn't like sharing the vision well enough with him and helping him see that this was good for our family. This was good for us. I wasn't sharing that vision. And so as a coach, if you can learn how to share your vision and excitement with other people, with your dreams, number one, it's going to help your family get on board a lot quicker, and it's going to be a better transition. There's not going to be resentment as much because everyone's on the same page, but it's also going to help attract your potential team to you because you can share that vision, that excitement. But there are going to be times when you feel alone, but we are never, ever 100% alone because we have God on our side, and he will always be there with us to help us push. You know, there's so many people in the Bible who did things on their, you know, they were alone in, you know, in the world, but they just kept doing it. They just kept pushing. It's up to us to hone our skills of sharing our dreams with those who are closest to us. So just really try to, you know, practice sharing your vision and communicating with your spouse or whoever it is. And instead of just telling them what's going to happen, make it a conversation. You will feel alone at times, but you don't have to be lonely. You are surrounded by love more than you can see, more than you'll ever fully know. Number 4, success will look different than you think. How many of you look at your business and think, oh my gosh, this is not exactly what I thought it was going to be like right now? I do. It's going to look different than you think. I love how she talks about this because I think we have this worldly view of what success is. And if you don't hit certain benchmarks in your business, if you don't, you know, if you're not making a certain figure in your income, if you've been in this business for X amount of months, you should be somewhere. And so we start doing this game of like, well, I guess I'm not successful because in their standards, I'm not successful. But that is not true. Success is not about results. It's about a relationship. God is not all interested in you, in your getting things done. And I think that's really good to know. Success is simply this, obedience. So I want you to sit down and think, why were you called to become a coach? Why do you feel like this was placed in your heart? Why do you feel coaching was placed, you know, in front of you? And why did you accept that calling? What was it about coaching that you wanted to do? For me, I actually had a post pop up today on my Facebook that said something about how I'd been a year ago or 2 years ago, I felt the calling to help women boost their self-confidence. And I can tell you that I personally don't feel like I have succeeded in listening to that calling at all. And I think it's because I was so distracted by what the world viewed success as that I was like, well, I don't have time to help people do that because I am busy trying to hit Success Club. I'm busy trying to do the things that the world deems as successful. And I can tell you that if I would have taken that other path with coaching and focused more on building women's self-confidence and helping them love themselves, I probably would feel way more successful today than I do right now. So I want you to think about, why did you feel called to do this? What was it that was placed in your heart? And then I want you to really focus on that as a coach. Stop worrying about what I say is success, what I've, you know, described success as. Stop worrying about what other people think success is. What is success to you? And if you can listen to that calling on why this was placed in your heart, you're going to make it a lot farther, and you're going to accomplish things more than you thought you would. If you decide that the world's definition of success is the only one that you'll pursue, then you will fail even if you attain it because you will miss what matters most. Life is a journey, not a destination. You're here to learn a bunch of lessons. And I can tell you right here, right now, that sitting here today, I know one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that I need to trust my gut, and I need to listen to that big guy upstairs, and I need to follow the callings that he's put in front of me. And I need to stop questioning, you know, and resisting what he wants me to do. Instead, I just need to start walking that path. I was called, you know, I felt this calling to boost women's, you know, confidence, to help them love themselves. And instead of just placing one foot in front of the other and trying to figure out how to do that and having him lead me, I thought I could weave it into something else. So just really think about that. You are called, dreams are really all about going with God. If you don't achieve success in the way you imagine, don't despair. Most likely that was never God's goal for you. The most important done in your life is not the one you write next to your biggest goal. It's the one that will be spoken over you when you hear well done from the lover of your soul. So I just want you to think about that. I don't want you to get caught up in the world's view of what success is. I think that's my most important tip right here, right now, today, is stop worrying about what the world views as successful and start seeing what he wants you to see, that success, because you will be successful if you listen to him and you follow what he's placed in your heart. Okay, and the last one, sorry, I took longer than I expected. One day this dream will be your new normal. Stop and look around you for a moment. Wherever you are, there's probably a piece of a God-sized dream. It could be the man sitting on the couch as your husband you asked God for years ago. The chaos in the other room could be the voices of the children you didn't know you'd ever have. You could be on a flight for a job you asked God to give you. You might be at church that you spent a long time looking for before settling to the one that felt like home. When we're pursuing a dream, it feels all-consuming. It feels like this will be the dream forever. It's hard to even imagine having what our hearts long for, much less feeling like it's normal for it to be our lives. Yet most of us are living right in the middle of many of our God-sized dreams from yesterday. The God-sized dream in your heart right now isn't the only thing God has for you. It's simply the next thing. One of the best parts of the dream is the journey to it. And like I said, life is a journey, not a destination. And I think we really need to remember that and focus on the little blessings that hit us, you know, throughout this business. Like I said, maybe it's not the success that you thought it would be, but you know, those messages you receive from someone thanking you for helping them, that is a blessing. You are doing something. That is success. And if you don't feel that successful, you need to reevaluate. Because I think it's so important. Each new dream he places in your heart and has you pursue is an opportunity to know him in a different way. Dreams also show you more of who you are too. As you pursue different ones, you stretch, grow, and become even more of who you've always been created to be. So in closing, dreams are unpredictable. We don't know where they will take us, what will happen along the way, or where we'll wind up. But in all uncertainty, there's one who is the same yesterday and today and forever. And he will always remain the same. That's what gives us the courage to dream. The disclaimers are never too much for the one who has claimed you as his own, and he called you in the adventure with him. He's even better than happily ever after. So as you're on this journey to pursue your dreams, I hope that you remember these disclaimers. And when you start to feel like this mountain is so hard to climb and you're wondering, questioning what you're supposed to do, obviously it's great to step back and reevaluate and ask, is this the path he wants me on? But understand that he never said it was going to be easy. He said it would be worth it. And if you can find the blessings in this business and what you're called in your calling and your dream, you can find those little blessings. It will never be a waste of your time if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.